See, there we are. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you are doing well. We got two people in here already. So good to see you guys. As always, we recommend setting yourself up in a distraction-free environment, making sure that you're not in an area where there's people that are going to be trafficking it, or having pets or dogs or anything like that that can paw at you. And I prefer to be out in the open space, sitting outside on the patio. Um, we have a little foray out here in between these two buildings, and you just have access to a lot of great sounds. And it just feels very open when you're trying to do something like this. So we'll get started here in a few minutes. Also, as you're setting up maybe your computer or your phone or whatever it is that you're looking to use to listen to this, then I would make sure that that's not facing you directly in the face, because sometimes people get a little self-conscious with that and distracted. And so what you ideally want is just to be able to listen to what we're doing, have that off to the side so that you're not being distracted by it, okay? All right, we will get started here pretty soon. All right, good morning. We are going to be starting here in just a few minutes. So as a reminder, let's make sure that we are in a relatively undistracted environment so that we can focus on what we're here to do. And I've mentioned before, I prefer sitting outside. It feels very open. You have access to a lot of natural sounds, not mandatory at all. You don't have to sit on the ground. You can sit in a chair, sit on the edge of a couch or something like that. But ideally, you're sitting upright. You're not leaning back with the potential to fall asleep. And as you're setting up your computer or setting up the phone or whatever it is you're going to be listening to this through, I would highly recommend that you don't have that sitting right in front of your face, because a lot of people tend to be self-conscious with that. I think what's ideal is to have it setting off to the side so you can just listen and then actually practice as we go through this whole practice meditation. All right, so we will start here in a couple of minutes. Also, past couple of sessions, we talked about envisioning statements. And I sent out a video yesterday to some of the participants. And if by chance you're not on that little email list, you can just chat me, message me, get in contact with me in some way. We have a really good little short video. It's about 15 or 20 minutes on brainstorming your envisioning statements. I think that's really, really useful. I tell you what, like, it's been a game changer. Every morning now, I have this little memorized prayer that I go through. I mean, I sometimes say it when I'm just laying in bed, but I definitely use it when I finish my meditation. And it's like I'm programming myself for everything that I want in my life. And magically, all these things show up. And they show up at weird times and in unexpected ways. But many times something shows up and I'm like, man, I've been asking for that for a really long time. Because when you see and feel the things that you want on a regular basis, you cannot help but make decisions that move in that direction. Doesn't matter what it is. So. All right, we are going to start here in about a minute. What else? I don't know, have an intention as we go through this to really, really try to do what it is that we're saying. I try to give us a really good balance of, a little bit of guided plus a little bit of practice, but the practice is where it's at. I worked with a lot of people over the years, and there's a lot of different perceptions about what meditation is. And all it is it's just noticing you're talking to yourself, or noticing you're just being lost or distracted or whatever. And sometimes that's really hard to tell, because when you talk to yourself like you're in it, and sometimes your thoughts feel really important because there's something about something that's coming up, something about your day or something that's really pressing on your mind. But it doesn't matter, because when we're here for this, We are here for this. Just like when I go to the gym for a workout, for that hour, like I'm there to work out. I'm not there to think about something else while I'm working out. I am there to do my best and give my all for that workout, and then I go about my day. And we got to have the same intention and attitude towards these little practice sessions. I recommend most people start out with maybe just 3 to 5 minutes of time meditation starting out, and if you can make that a habit every single day, then you can bump up the time. But whatever time you dedicate towards it, you just need to say, I'm here for this, and I'm really going to try to do my best to practice noticing and coming back to our focus. All right. So, all right. So it's 6:15. Let's go ahead and get started. I've mentioned it before, but let's make sure we are in a relatively undistracted environment. And let's make sure that we have access to some things that we can listen to. I like sitting outside. It feels very open. If you don't have that, that's perfectly fine. And then also we recommend as we go through this whole process that you keep your eyes open. For some people that's uncomfortable, but just understand we're trying to cultivate present moment awareness, and we are living our life with our eyes open. And so it helps to practice with your eyes open, because that's what this is. This is practice for everyday life. And then also, we want to have an intention of really trying to be here and do this to the best of our abilities, and notice ourselves getting lost or distracted, whether it's during times that I'm talking or if it's in your own practice. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I want us to do is engage all the senses. We're going to take a few deep breaths, and with our eyes open, we're going to look around, listen, and feel for a few deep breaths. All right, awesome. So I want us all to acknowledge when you do that, notice that space, notice that openness, notice whatever that is. It's hard to explain what it is, but I know you know what I'm talking about. It's complete presence. You don't have that anytime throughout the day, because throughout the day, you're going from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. So I want us to acknowledge and embrace that little brief period of space, because that is the practice moment that we're always looking for. We're always looking to come back to complete presence, where we are here and it's void of thinking, because the way that we create space in mind is by introducing a focus. Okay? It's not by stop thinking, because we're not going to stop thinking. The mind thinks like the heart beats. But when we introduce a focus, especially a present moment experience focus, then we naturally create some space and thought. All right, so now we're going to engage the sense of listening. So I want us to just take a few deep breaths and just listen. And I want us to see what we have access to in our current moment experience. All right, so here I'm inside and it's super quiet. I can barely hear the hum of the refrigerator. So for me, my focus is just trying to listen to something, all right? And even in that attempt to listen, I create some space and thought. Maybe where you're at, you have access to traffic, birds, hum of a refrigerator, air conditioner, maybe people talking or chatting somewhere. Whatever that is, let's acknowledge again. As soon as we tried to listen, we created some space and thought. So right now, again, if we try to listen for a moment, there's no thinking. We introduce this focus of listening, and we create some space. Now, eventually, as we go through this couple of minutes here, within 15 to 30 seconds, you're going to start to talk to yourself, and that's perfectly normal. As soon as you notice that, then you just listen, just like we just did, and then you'll notice some more space, and you're just going to go back and forth from noticing yourself thinking to coming back and listening. All right, so we're going to do this for about 2 minutes together as practice. I'm just getting my timer here. All right, so let's do 2 minutes of listening meditation. All right, cool. So again, just keep in mind what we're doing here. We're practicing. We're practicing noticing thinking. That's the skill that we're trying to cultivate. That's what meditation is all about. Noticing your thinking, coming back to your focus. So within that short 2 minute period, there was plenty of opportunities to practice. I mean, almost immediately I was gone thinking about what I have going on the rest of the day. And at some point I noticed that. And I came back and I listened and I created some space. The more that we do this, the more that we practice the skill of noticing our thinking and being distracted and talking to ourselves, the more that's going to show up in our everyday life. It's really, really powerful. All right. So the next thing we want to do is transition to feeling the body. This is a great focus because, again, the body, the feelings in the body are here in the present moment. And again, I recommend keeping your eyes open. So let's start by working on our posture. So I want you to just imagine running your awareness up and down your spine, working out the kinks. Maybe do that 2 or 3 times. Make sure that you're pinching your shoulders back. And then let's finish with imagining the top of your head being pulled up to the sky and pushing your tailbone down into your seat, elongating your spine. And then we have a nice, tight, rigid posture. Let's maintain that for the rest of our meditation. If you notice yourself start to slouch, then you can just immediately kind of pop back into a good posture. All right, now let's gently transition into a body scan so that we can get used to feeling different parts of the body. So let's start at the feet and feel the pressure of the ground up against the feet. Feel that connection point. And let's move to the butt. Let's feel the pressure of the ground or the seat up against the butt. And then let's connect those two together. Let's take a couple deep breaths in. And as we exhale, let's allow gravity to pull us down into those two connection points. Just feel those two connection points. All right, now let's come up to the stomach. Let's feel the stomach move in and out as we breathe. Let's come up to the chest. Let's feel the lungs as we breathe. Let's put our awareness in the center of our chest. See if we can feel our heart. And then let's come out to our hands. I always recommend putting your palms facing up. You can have them sitting in your lap. And we just want to feel our hands. You know, we're grabbing stuff and touching stuff all day with our hands, so it's really easy to feel the hands. Let's come out to the fingertips and feel the fingertips. And then let's have an intention to increase the blood flow to the fingertips so that we can feel a heartbeat or a pulse or a throbbing. All right, then you can relax your hands. Let's come up to the head. Let's feel the ears. Let's relax the face, starting with the forehead and the brow. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Check in with the eyeballs and feel the eyeballs. Let's come down to the nasal passage and feel the nasal passage. And then come down to the mouth and feel the mouth. Relax the muscles around the mouth. And then feel the lips. All right, now let's see if we can feel the whole face at once. We've got the face nice and calm and relaxed. Let's see if we can feel the whole face. Maybe even see if you can feel a heartbeat or a pulse or a throbbing in the face. And now let's try to connect the entire body. So we just went through a whole body scan. Let's connect everything from the head all the way down to the feet. Let's see if we can feel the inner body. All right, let's take a moment and see if we can feel any external environmental factors. So maybe you have a breeze. Maybe you have the contrast between some warm and cold. Maybe, depending on where you are, you have sun exposure. All right. And then finally, let's pinpoint or highlight or get in touch with any areas of discomfort or tightness or tension. Sometimes when I'm sitting cross legged, my hip or my knee starts to kind of hurt a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's just put our awareness in that sensation of discomfort. All right, cool. So we're going to work on maybe about a minute and a half of feeling the body meditation. I want us all to acknowledge as we were going through that whole process, we weren't thinking about anything, because we had a focus. That focus was constantly changing. If we do this on our own, and I said, hey, let's feel the body for 5 minutes, guaranteed within 15 seconds we'd be lost, right? Which is perfectly normal, right? Remember, the mind thinks like the heart beats, and we're not looking to stop it. We're just looking to introduce a focus. And in the introduction of that focus, we naturally create some space and thought. So let's work for about a minute or a minute and a half on feeling the body. You can access anything that we just went through or try to feel the whole body at once, whatever resonates with you, with the ultimate goal of noticing yourself, talking to yourself, or being distracted. And as soon as you do, just come back and refeel the body to create some more space. All right, cool. So again, during that process, hopefully we got some really good practice in. That was about a minute and a half. And again, I was thinking about some things that are really weighing on my mind right now. But like we said, this is not a time for that. As juicy and as interesting and compelling as our thoughts might be, when we're here to do this, we're here to do this. So as soon as I notice that, the instruction is to come back and refill and create some space, right? And then that thought kind of dissipates and floats away. All right. So the last thing we want to focus on is the breath. So let's take a moment and connect with the breath in whatever way makes sense for us as individuals. And then remember, we have access to a lot of different aspects of the breath. So we could feel the breath at the nostrils, the nasal passage, and the back of the throat. We can notice the breath at the stomach as we breathe. The stomach moves in and out. We can feel the whole body shift as we breathe. The whole body shifts. And then one of my favorites is just lightly placing your awareness at the bottom of the exhale where there's a natural pause and the body is very still. All right. So again, naturally placing your awareness at the bottom of the exhale where there's a natural pause and the body is very still. All right, cool. So we're going to do our last little practice session. Let's focus on the breath. All right, you can focus on any aspect of the breath that feels right for you. If you want a little bit of guidance there, then I'd recommend lightly placing your awareness at the bottom of the exhale where there's that natural pause and some stillness. All right, and we have the same goal. We want to notice ourselves talking to ourselves, lost in thought, or completely gone. And as soon as you notice that, you gently come back and refocus on the breath and create some more space. All right, this is our last practice for today. So let's really get some good practice in. We're going in. All right, cool. Hopefully, we got some good practice in there. Um, you really know when you're back when you have that openness feeling. I mean, that's what we're looking for. When you truly reconnect with the breath or whatever focus it is that you're on, you'll notice there's that temporary moment of just complete openness, complete presence. It's void of thinking and everything else, and that's what we're looking for. So let's just reiterate what it is that we're doing here and why we're doing this. Remember, we're trying to cultivate the skill of noticing what's happening, of seeing what's happening, right? Because the reality is that the majority of people out there, from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed, their mind is on autopilot, and it's rare that you're not thinking about something, right? If you were to watch your mind like a mental movie throughout the day yesterday, you'd see that every moment of the day is filled with some kind of a thought, and usually has nothing to do with where we're at. A lot of those thoughts are repetitive. They're self-defeating, they're worst case scenario, they're being triggered, upset, critical mind, judgmental mind. And so what we want to do is cultivate this skill, this power of noticing our self-talk, because as soon as we notice that, we have a chance to work with it. We can come back to the present moment. We can come back to whatever it is that we're focused on. We can reframe it. You know, if I notice myself being really heated or triggered about something that gets me emotional, or I'm thinking about something very negative and self-defeating or worst case scenario, if I see that happen, I can reframe it. And I can ask myself, what is it that I really want? What am I trying to do? What can I focus on in this moment that's actually productive? You know, there's a lot of different things that we can do once we notice that. But the first step is cultivating the skill. And the skill is cultivated through a practice session just like this, right? So you have access to this anytime that you want. You can take a little 3 to 5 minute stint any time of the day, no matter where you are, and sit there and listen and feel and breathe, all right, and create some space, okay? All right, so let's just finish with a little bit of envisioning. I want you to close your eyes. And again, we want to see ourselves from a distance, ideally, maybe rotating on a platform. And when you look at this version of yourself, you're seeing the most optimal, healthy, happy, vibrant, fit, healthy, lean version of yourself, preferably with a smile on your face. And this version of yourself encompasses every aspect of your life in its optimal state. So you're looking at, you know, your optimal financial, relationship, career. This version of yourself is everything that you're moving towards. And then we can ask ourselves, we can ask our higher selves, our spirit, our unconscious, our non-conscious, like, what are the daily activities and actions that I need to have in place to be that kind of person? You don't have to have an answer, but if you ask the question, the answers will come. Okay. So seeing that version of yourself, simply step into that version of yourself, because that's the version of yourself that you're becoming. And then you can open your eyes, come back to the present moment, and let's make it an amazing day. If you got any feedback on this process, let me know. All right. Our meditation sessions, regardless of how long they are, tend to have the same little rhythm and focus. And that's because it works. And that's because this is what we're here to do. We're here to practice, you know. So, comments and feedback are welcome. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Okay.